It's episode 5 of West Side Stories, guys.
Woo!
Yeah, we did it. Episode 5. Finally, we started this in what, November?
Maybe around November.
Around November, and now it's May, and we're doing episode 5. So yes, we have been very responsible, and we're very much on track. And today we have another exciting topic line. Oh wait, I have to introduce my co-hosts first. I am Jake Bernstein, the master of ceremonies, MC Jake, D-Jake, as I said last time. Joined by Grayson, Proffitt, Alan Estrada, and Nathan Mackin.
Yep.
Guys, welcome to staying after school on a Friday to record a podcast. And today we're going to be talking about final exam survival strategies and how not to let them kill you. Because a lot of people seem to think that, oh my god, they're crazy. And so we are here to tell you how not to die. Should I go first?
Go on.
Okay. My main thing is people stress out about final exams so much. And it's just ridiculous.
Yeah,
how much people lose their crap over these little tests. I mean, they're not little. I mean, they do count for a lot of the grade. But honestly, when you think about how much you've learned over just the semester, and if you've paid attention in class and done your notes and your homework and stuff, you will be amazed how easy the test is. And you don't have to go around talking about, oh my god, it's 20% of our grade, I'm freaking out so much. Because odds are you're going to get a 95% on it anyway, and you'll find that freaking out about it didn't do anyone any good except annoy a whole lot of people.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. The habit that I formed before all of my final exams over the past 4 years is definitely, I'll study the week beforehand, because then it's relearning the knowledge and you get it in your head again. But then that night before, I always go to bed at 7:30, 8 o'clock,
Right.
play games on my phone, watch a movie.
Right.
Because then you relax and you aren't even stressing out about what's to come.
Yeah, actually, we discussed that in psychology class, how Dr. Fraser actually talked about this, and how it's more important to get a good night's sleep before your big tests, because your brain needs that time to process all the information that you just shoved in there. So staying up all night cramming is probably not as good a strategy as studying throughout the week and then getting a good night's rest beforehand. And that's only if you really, really think you need to study. A lot of the times the tests aren't even really that hard. At least I find that. You two should pay attention to this very well, because Nathan, you're a sophomore, right?
Yep.
And Alan, you're a junior. So you guys still both have final exams left to take. Grayson and I are seniors, so we don't have to worry so much about that.
Sort of.
But you guys... But you both have some experience, obviously, with final exams, so you know what we're talking about. It's just not as bad as everyone seems to think it is.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not like college.
Where usually an exam can be your only grade.
Right, exactly. In Dr. Hensey's poli-sci class, he sort of does that. Second semester, comparative government, we have not had any grades the entire semester. Our entire grade is made up of these last few weeks where we're taking our final exam that's worth 50% of the grade. We're doing a final project that I think is 25%, and I think class participation throughout the entire thing was another 25%, or something like that. And I mean, if you think about all that you've learned, and you just go back and look through your notes, you'll be like, oh yeah, I remember that, and you'll find that you know all this stuff already, and there's no need to go freaking out about it and being annoyed.
Yeah, it's my past two English final exams over the past 2 years have been, they've been reading exams. You didn't have to study for it or anything really. All you had to do was just sit there and just read it and then answer the questions about it. That was really about it.
Yeah. There's not really any way to study for Common Core, which is usually what English tests are deprived of.
Uh-huh.
So, really, you either know the material and you know what you're doing, or you really don't.
If you understand the language you're speaking and you are literate, you should be able to do just fine on those English exams. And then, like, on the other stuff, on, like, math and science, if that's not really your thing, yeah, you'll have to study a bit more. But I think you'll find that it's not that bad. Anything else?
Like, usually what I do whenever I know that I can pass an exam easily, I usually don't study for that exam, but focus the majority of my time on a test that I would struggle on. Like, say, instead of focusing on A-Push, because A-Push is a pretty good subject of mine, I would usually just study algebra. And that makes me less stressed about the A-Push, and it also makes me feel like I'm prepared for the algebra, so that usually helps.
Speaking of A-Push, there's also AP tests and, like, other standardized tests like the ACT and the SAT that everyone always goes crazy about because, oh, God, no, this decides our entire future, and colleges will look at this and be like, it's the same rule as before. Like, it's not that hard. At least, I don't know. Some people might say, oh, Jake, you're just saying that because you're smart or something and everything is easy for you. But, I mean, seriously, though, I think if everybody just stopped and took a deep breath, they would find that it's not super difficult. Like, did you guys have trouble with your final exams last year?
Last year, no.
No, there wasn't any real problems.
Like, what do you think was your hardest exam?
Probably the hardest one was probably math because I'm just bad at math in general.
Right. Yeah.
But,
Same here.
Yeah. It's just like if you're good at one subject, don't study it as much. It's like Alan was saying,
Right.
Don't study it as much as you should your other subjects that you're like kind of bad at. So.
Right. Play to your strengths, I guess. That sort of thing.
One of the reasons why I think like kids do stress over it is because of that fact that we've been brought up to think that these tests are like what matter, and that if you don't score well on these tests, then you won't get far in life. So I think that a lot of those issues like happen a lot earlier on in like grade school. So,
well, it might be like the same people that stress over these tests are like the same people who get punished for C's and stuff like that. So I guess that sort of thing affects it quite a lot. So I guess, yeah, it does depend on your upbringing and whatnot, but what else do we have? I know there's more things we could talk about.
Food. That's the most important
Food,
part.
that's
well,
right.
In my general.
I think everybody needs to eat.
Well, not like that. Like, I mean, people know I like to eat a lot. But
oh, yeah.
definitely during finals because something that I've decided, and it's probably true just because it's always worked, is a full stomach equals a full brain. You know, if you aren't hungry, then you aren't focused on your stomach, and you don't have other things on your mind. So it kind of gives you a little bit more focus that you can put into these tests as you take them. It's just a better object you could use to keep your focus.
Those calories are going to your brain and helping you think, like the Bear Grylls survival guide. If Bear Grylls like Survivor-Man into American high school, like these are the things he said, like get those calories into your brain.
If you're feeling hungry during a test, rip out the corner and stuff it in your throat.
And try not to fall into any crevasses. And better drink your own pee.
Would that be a good? Are you suggesting that during the exam?
I just think that would be awkward. Like you just hear unzip and this is.
Oh, I'm out of water in the middle of my exam. Better
You
drink my own
can't figure
pee.
out a question, so you just rip it out and eat it.
I swear that wasn't on the exam, man. I'm sorry.
So let's see. We've got don't stress so much, get a good night's sleep, study what you need to study, and eat.
Like, I mean, with the eating thing, I think that's what, like, a lot of the reasons why a lot of the teachers say, hey, bring a sandwich or something to eat once you're done with the exam, so that it can help you with your future exams, you know?
Or before the ACT, a lot of teachers are like, oh, make sure you get a good breakfast.
Yeah. And they give you bagels. They gave us bagels before the ACT.
Right, I remember, they did that for us too. And, like, I mean, that's also something to think about, like, the final exam schedule, sometimes your lunch hour might get moved around, or maybe you won't even have your regular lunch hour on a certain exam day. You might not always have time to eat, or your lunch might be really later than usual, so it could be like, maybe you usually eat like 11 o'clock, but at 11 o'clock on an exam day, you have an exam to take, and you haven't eaten all day. Maybe because you don't eat breakfast. You're one of those people who doesn't eat breakfast. Now you're really hungry and you can't even think straight, and you're not going to do well on your exams. So there's a lot of factors to keep in mind, but they're all relatively easy to accomplish. Like bring a few snacks with you. That's not hard. Eat a meal in the morning. Get a good night's sleep. They're all easy. And usually during exam week, you won't have any homework anyway, so there's no reason to stay up super late.
Yeah, just pace yourself throughout the week. Study like 1.5 to 1 hour like each night, maybe.
Bad grades on final exams are avoidable. And if you do get a bad grade, it's probably your own fault. And you deserve it anyway. Right, well, is that all we've got? We good?
I think that's it.
All right.
Sounds about it.
Well, that is another episode of West Side Stories. This has been episode 5. I'm glad we got around to doing at least 5 of these things.
Ooh.
Yeah, we're really good at this, obviously.
Good at pacing ourselves.
Hopefully we can do another one before the end of the year, but until then, thank you very much for listening.